Hey everybody, got a request to do a thing on transfer switch. What I put in was the Reliance Pro Tran 2. It's the one that you can see here. Not a big deal. 6 switches, 50 amp, not the 30 amp. I wanted 50 amp, therefore I want to overdo my loads. Um, One of the first things, people ask on the breaker box, that's going to be your simple part. Um, there isn't much to do here. I'll get into that in just a moment. Um, Here we've got my solar set up. So we got the EG4 3000 from Signature Solar, and can't say enough about them. Link in the description. All right, the basics on this particular setup. I've got the solar coming in, kind of where you see the cursor of the mouse. Battery wire coming up, going in, um, and then 120 volt going in. And then right here on these wires, they come over here to this box. This box is here because I wanted an outlet in the same room as the solar. That way, if something went bad with the transfer switch or safety reasons, I can shut it down here as well. And there is an outlet down below it, which I'll show in just a moment. And that's for if the power goes out and I have something wrong with the transfer switch, kind of a double backup. To install this transfer switch, first things first, shut all the power down. I'm not an electrician, so keep that in mind, but I do know what I'm doing. So here's the outlet that I was talking about. But at any rate, we're going to go from the EG4 3000 up to this breaker box, and then I'm going to come out with some 6.2. Now everybody's going to have a different situation. Mine's 50 amp, and I'm only running 110 volt. I'm not running 240 volt. This is just for supplying 110 volt in the house. Microwave, refrigerator, freezer, computers, TV, lights, all that is running off my EG4 3000. Basically everything in the house. So either which way, have your proper wiring size. It's not hard to find online what you need for everything. Just count up how many watts, how many volts, amps, what everything is, and then what you can put on this. And the joy of a transfer switch is if you do have too much on those 6, you can flip one off and carry a heavy load, and then whenever that heavy load is gone, you can flip a switch back on. But at any rate, all right, going from the EG4 3000, from here, we're going to go take that cable up, and then we're going to go under the floor. And next, we're going to come in to this room. This is where it comes up, just conduit, no big deal, into the box. All my footage that I did have, beautifully laid out with all the wiring, has been scrapped. It's gone. Either which way, I hope I can help here. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube showing the wiring, but they seem to just keep missing little pieces here and there. Coming in, you're on 110 volt, you're going to have 3 wires, your hot, neutral, and ground. On this box, you're going to have 2 red wires because A and B, these first 2 switches, are connected to each other for a 240 volt setup. I removed the pin in between them. That makes it 120 volts per switch. but you've still got two wires. Use a butt connector or a wire connector or a Wago clip, whatever you're going to use to connect all three wires together. So that'd be your incoming line positive, um, line being, the solar power positive, which is already into 120 volt AC, not DC. Run it into the two wires that are red, no big deal. Then you'll have your ground wire, connect the ground to this box, very easily labeled. There is instructions, so don't get too carried away. Neutral to the neutral on the box, white wire, I believe. Yeah, it is white. And then you're going to have a bunch of other little wires here. All these reds and all the blacks are going to be labeled with A, B, C, all the way up to E on a 6. Whenever you have all this laid out in front of you, it's easy to see. You will run the black, the red. On this particular picture, we've got the white, which is also the neutral. You're going to have to run the neutral and the ground into the breaker box. And these reds are going to go into the breaker itself. So you take the wire out of your breaker, let's say for the fridge, you will put A, the red, into the breaker, take the black, it's probably going to be black anyway, that you took out of the breaker for the fridge, and clip it on to this black wire, A. So you'll have the red as A going to your refrigerator breaker. Then you will have the black wire connecting to the original wire that was going to that breaker. That way the power flows from the original refrigerator wire to the transfer switch, and that way whenever you flip it to line, it's going to have power just like normal from your electric company. Then where you flip it up to gen, Gen, which is in the upwards position, you will then have it on either generator or solar or whatever your other power source is. So it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated at all. To get in specifics, here is the box. On this one, it's showing one red wire here. You're going to have two that's coming down out of it in 6 gauge from the factory. And I did match that 6 gauge coming in. But at any rate, on here, you can see you've got the two neutrals in white. You got one coming in, one going out. But it's not a big issue. Just remember your lettering, have it all mapped out on paper. I wish you the very best. Now, if you do have a problem with one of the switches, A, B, C, D, or E, if you flip it up to your solar or down to your line, on mine, A did not work on regular utility. I went back over the lines. I couldn't find no broken connection or anything. Couldn't figure it out until we removed the top part of the Pro Trans 2 to get in behind where the gauges are and the switches, and put an ohm meter on it, and lo and behold, the switch was bad straight from the company. So that does happen. If that does happen, all you got to do is email Reliance and they will send you a switch for free. I didn't have to show proof that I bought it or anything. I just sent them an email, told them my problem, and they sent me a switch. It was here within a week. So I do hope that part helps somebody. You know, 1 out of 1,000 are going to have a bad switch, either which way. Not a big deal. I highly, highly recommend it because there's multiple days where it's cloudy here for, let's say, a week. And you really got to use your solar on something, but you don't have enough to run everything. All you got to do is flip the switches, go back to the grid. And if there is no power, flip the switches to save battery. Um, let's say we've got this connected to a computer, Wi-Fi router, and everything. If the power goes out and your batteries are down to 30% and it's going to be cloudy the next day, switch everything off but the fridge. Makes sense, no problem. You're going to carry over that power over an amount of time. So I highly encourage using one of these transfer switches. I would not get the 30 amp, which you're going to find on Amazon. They have everything from 1 to 10 circuits running on 30 amp. Whenever you add up everything in your house on just 110 volt, you're going to have more than 30 amp, more than likely. But if everything kicked on at once, which is entirely possible, happened to me a bunch of times, even through the breaker once on the EG4. Either which way, just plan it out, map it, read the instructions. If anything don't make sense, put it in the comments below. And I'm going to put in things in the comments as well with people asking questions. I am super sorry I did not have the original footage, but it is what it is. And thanks. Have a great day.